Hello, this is Virtualis the Chess Noob, learning and having fun with chess. One of the general opening principles is to develop your pieces from their starting square. Now, a tactical consequence of this is that if you're able to block or prevent your opponent from developing their pieces, you can sometimes gain a fairly important advantage, as we will see in this above game. Let's go take a look. Alright, so in this game I had the black pieces and my opponent led with the queen's pawn opening, 1d4. And as usual, I've been playing the Englund Gambit, immediately, questioning their choice of this opening and also taking this game potentially out of 1d4 type games. They accept. Knight comes out, attacking the pawn, so knight c6. They defend, very normal. Now queen e7. And now my opponent plays something that's out of the main line with e3. So that's perfectly okay. But in this situation, no reason not to take, and we basically trade a pair of knights. Now the opponent brings out the queen, wanting to trade queens. And here I think Stockfish thinks me taking is perfectly okay. They'll take black with the pawn, but that still leaves them with one pawn in the center. So what I decided to do is I wanted to potentially gain the tempo. So for the queen capture to occur on my terms. So I played queen to c5, expecting them to take because, obviously they want to trade queens, and that will allow me to take back with development. And bishop is in a fairly natural looking square. So I was pretty happy with that, effectively gaining a little bit of tempo. Now here I think, yep, it's still perfectly fine for white, basically equal. But we've sort of moved it now out of the queen's pawn type openings. They push another pawn and, not entirely sure that's the best move for them. Blocks in the development of their knight. I develop my other knight, ready potentially to castle. They sort of develop that knight. I now push that pawn, so 2 squares away from that knight. So basically potentially blocking any further development, so natural move for that knight. They push another pawn. Presumably they're going to maybe fianchetto their bishop. I now develop my other bishop, and now I'm ready to castle, and I'm able to castle on both sides. So I'm pretty happy here. Yes, they do fianchetto their bishop, and here I thought for a little while, and I thought that if I push my knight, they're either going to be forced to bring their knight to a place that's not so good, but I thought more likely that they might actually capture and take back. And why did I want to do this? Because after take, now I push my pawn. Now this bishop is kind of boxed in by my pawn. This bishop is boxed in by their own pawns. Obviously, can't get past this pawn, can't push through, and so these rooks potentially are going to take more time to develop as well. While both my bishops are developed, they're potentially looking at diagonals, and with castling, one or both of my rooks will enter the game. So I thought here I'm basically ahead on development and potentially tempo in the way the humans normally play. It's interesting. Stockfish thinks it's basically equal. But as we'll see, I now rapidly gain the advantage. So this is move 12. If we have a quick look at not the evaluation, at the review, here we're still very, very equal. But you can see very soon afterwards, as we enter the middle game, I gain a very substantial lead. So they short castles and I long castles. So firstly, this rook now controls the d-file, and the development issues for the bishops and rooks remain. So they push a pawn, striking out and potentially allowing that bishop to come out. So that makes sense. I thought I want to keep the pressure. So yes, that's right. I thought maybe coming back here, but I thought eventually this bishop's going to get trapped. So I decided to actually move it back and potentially, controlling that pawn and also potentially targeting that rook. Yeah, there we go. They sort of fianchetto that other bishop, but now I can infiltrate that rook, attacking that bishop. What are they going to do? And you can sort of see, even though Stockfish thought it was equal, I'm rapidly gaining an advantage. So forced now to defend that bishop with a rook. So that rook is now sort of stuck effectively on guard duty. The bishop now here. So again, they can't push that pawn ahead. And without pushing that pawn, that bishop also can't really move, because if they come here, I take that pawn. But if they push forward, I can take, and they can't really take back. They sort of threaten that rook. However, again, one step ahead, I can now double up those rooks. So they need to do something here. They really need to take. However, they decide to push through that pawn and miss. Unfortunately, their back rank is very soft. So I take their rook. That comes with check. And here, my opponent actually opted to resign, because from here, checkmate is basically unavoidable. So what might that look like? So clearly, they're potentially going to have to take. I now infiltrate with my other rook, take back. So both rooks are now lost. King is still in check. Bishop has to block because of the back rank problems. And now this bishop can come straight ahead. There's nothing they can do. Push a pawn, but capture, and that will be mate. Good game? GG. The big takeaway from this game is to be careful to not block in your piece development and be stuck in the middle game. I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.